Live streaming is active, recording is active. Go ahead and call the meeting to order, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the May 25th meeting of the Columbus Board of Zoning Adjustment. We are scheduled to hear variant requests tonight only, no appeals. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. If this is your first time with us in our virtual world, this is how this works. You can keep your mic off the entire time. You can leave your camera on or off, it doesn't matter. But when it's your turn, we would like for you to turn your camera on so we can see you, turn your mic on so that we can hear you, and then we will swear you in individually at the beginning of your case. Once your case has been heard, you do not have to stay for the entirety of the meeting. You're free to log off and go on with your evening. We are trying to still keep adherence to our 5-minute per case presentation, 3-minute per rebuttal for community members that want to speak. If you are having trouble with your audio, there is a chat feature. And if you type into that chat feature, we will try to figure out what's going on and help you diagnose the problem. It works best, what we have found is if you have one device running the audio and video from the same device. So if that's your computer, you're doing it from your computer and not your computer and the phone in the same room, as that causes feedback and a lot of issues. So if you would like to get that going and make sure you're okay, that would be perfect. At the beginning of the meeting, you usually hear some preliminary matters that we need to decide upon before we jump into the agenda as posted. And so I'll ask Jamie if you will walk us through those things now.
We do have one preliminary matter. Michael, if you want to go ahead and take it from here.
Yes, we've got BZA 21-028, which is 4150 to 4207 Worth Avenue. This is within Easton. The applicant has been having some issues obtaining a recommendation from the Northeast Area Commission, so they would like to be heard tonight. So we just wanted to have you guys vote on whether we should keep them on the agenda and hear them as normal, or if you guys would like to table them before the meeting. And I see that Kelly Shepard is here. I'm sure she can answer any questions about those communication issues that you guys may have as well.
Is the area commission here or no?
I doubt it.
Okay, and is the applicant going to explain the issues of communication, or we're hearing that from the city?
She can explain it for you if you'd
Okay.
like.
Okay, ma'am.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I attended the zoning board meeting for the Northeast Area Commission on April 20th to present our case, and during that meeting we were approved. It was not clear to me during the meeting that there was a follow-up meeting on May 6th. I didn't receive any communication from the Northeast Area Commission until May 7th, when I received a phone call from Alice Porter telling me that I missed a meeting on the 6th. In her voicemail, which is what she left, she also advised that she had left me a previous voicemail at an unspecified date, giving me Zoom details. I immediately tried to email her. I had had numerous occasions of attempting to email her with no responses. I would only get phone calls. Even for the April 20th meeting, Michael actually had to refer me because I had to chase down when it was and try to get Zoom details for that meeting as well. So when I did connect with her after several attempts, she said, well, she left me Zoom details on a voicemail, which not myself nor my company administrator for our phones can find a record that I received a message from her or a call on the prior to the 6th. So again, I'm sorry to give you so much detail. But so I didn't know that I needed to be at a meeting on the 6th. We were approved on the 20th. I've asked for anything in writing. She said they don't put anything in email, so I'm not sure what to do. So we hoped to just go ahead and have you hear our case.
What's the variance request that you're making tonight?
For an 8-month approval for our pop-up shipping store.
It's
And
a special permit.
sorry.
Just to clarify, it's a special permit, not a variance.
Is that number 1 on the agenda?
No, it's number 9.
Number 9. Okay.
So
So you're saying an 8-month portable building.
Correct. Self-contained, no hookups to anything.
And what was the outcome of your zoning meeting with them?
We were approved. They did send me a video recording, so there is record of it in the video after I asked for the minutes. So we
There
were
was a vote?
Yep.
What was the tally?
All 100% yes.
Unanimous? Okay. Okay, board members, what do you think?
I vote we hear it.
I'm fine with that.
I normally would be uncomfortable, but since I'm looking at the zoning, what they're asking for, the portable building for 8 months, and she did say it was unanimous for the zoning committee, I'll vote to hear it as well.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Should we have an official vote on this, Jamie, or not?
No, I think what you've done so far to clarify, since it's a preliminary matter, you're all in agreement that this can be heard. You're not saying you're going to approve it, just that it can be heard. The whole point of breaking this a preliminary matter was if you didn't feel comfortable hearing it, we didn't want to make Ms. Shepherd wait around for 2 hours.
Right.
Although you told she couldn't be heard, so we'll hear it at its regular scheduled time.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, are we ready to go on with our agenda?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so. Okay, case number 1, 3487 Westerville Road. 3487 Westerville Road. Will the applicant please state your name for the record, please?
Yes, this is Ibrahim Jaffe from HND Investment Properties, LLC.
Okay. Mr. Jeffrey, can you raise your right hand and you promise that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, we will hear from the city first, giving an overview, and then we'll come back to you.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Phil Benich presenting. (3487) Westerville Road is located on the west side of Westerville Road, approximately 200 feet south of Woods Edge Road, served by the Northeast Area Commission and its own limited manufacturing. The 18.8 acre site is developed with a surface parking lot for semi-trucks and other vehicles. There is a small permanent office building near the entrance of the site. A portable building was installed near the office without zoning clearance, and a violation notice was issued in December 2019. Surrounding uses include vacant land and a church building to the west, retail to the west and south, single unit dwellings to the west, north, and east, warehouses to the west and south, a manufactured home park and commercial businesses to the north, car dealers to the east and south, and an event center and U.S. Postal Service office to the south. The applicant proposes to add screening to the site and legitimize existing conditions for the portable building. A special permit is required for a portable building that does not meet the listed exceptions. Planning Division staff have no comment on the request as the applicable plan does not address portable building. However, planning does support the proposed screening as it is in line with plan language. Northeast Area Plan recommends all parking lots visible from roadways should be screened with a minimum 3 feet high continuous wall or hedge that reaches a minimum 75% opacity. No comments from Division of Traffic, and Northeast Area Commission recommended approval of the request condition on the commitment to the site plan, which you're looking at. City departments recommend approval. Although the Northeast Area Plan does not address portable buildings, the proposed screening is in line with plan language. Additionally, the existing portable building is compatible with the general character of the neighborhood and purpose of the zoning district. And we recommend a condition that the applicant commit to the screening and the location of the portable building shown on the site plan. Madam Chair.
Eleanor, you're muted.
Sorry. Mr. Jeffrey, are you in agreement with the city's condition regarding the placement of the portable building? And this is the final site plan? Have you already submitted that to the city, or do you have something else?
Mr. Jaffe, you're also muted.
Hello? Mr. Jeffrey?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry about that.
That's right. Are you in agreement with the city condition about the placement of the portable building?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and present any additional information to us about this application?
We're gonna just go ahead and agree with the city, and we're gonna, about the site, and we're gonna, whatever the city recommends for us to do, we'll do it.
Okay. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak about this application?
Madam Chair,
Yes?
I have a question of the applicant. Is there a time limit on this portable building?
No, I don't have a time limit, but I can do it as soon as we get the green line to go ahead and take care of it.
I meant, is there a length of time we're approving this for?
The sooner the better, so we can, yes, we can fix it. You know what I mean? Yeah, because we've been waiting for about 8 months now, and we're just ready to go ahead and.
No, the question, Mr. Jeffrey, is how long do you want the portable building to be up? In the future, how long do you want it to be up?
As long as possible.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if we have no more questions, are we ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Okay, case number 2, 560 Claycraft Road, 560 Claycraft Road. Will the applicant please state your name for the record?
Thomas Ripsky,
Hello, Mr.
representing. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Thomas Ripsky with Prime Engineering.
Okay.
On behalf of the applicant.
Do you promise that the testimony you give tonight with the truth and nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, we'll hear from the city and then we'll come back to you.
Thank you, Chair. At 560 Claycraft Road. This is located at the terminus of Claycraft Road, approximately 1,960 feet southwest of Morrison Road, and zoned in the M Manufacturing District. The site is developed with a concrete recycling and salvage yard operation. The site is surrounded by similar uses to the north, east, and west, and a railroad line to the south. In May 2006, this site, as part of a larger site, received variances to permit storage of salvage material within 600 feet of residential zoning district, to not enclose the area with a tight unpierced fence not less than 6 feet in height around the perimeter of the lot, or a greenbelt planting strip, and to allow storage less than 30 feet from a street line and less than 20 feet from another lot line. In 2018, the adjacent site received an identical variance for 40-foot pile heights. The applicant proposes to store concrete that has been salvaged and will be recycled. A variance is requested to increase pile heights from 10 feet to 40 feet. Planning supports the proposal as presented. The Port Columbus Joint Economic Development Strategy supports additional light industrial and commercial development around the airport where industrial development is supported. It should be oriented so that storage and other external activities are not facing public right-of-way or residential uses. Additional pile height at this location would not have an impact on adjacent uses and is generally consistent with the Port Columbus Joint Economic Development Strategy recommendations. Staff notes that the site is located adjacent to the proposed Big Walnut Creek Greenway Trail, and planning recommends that the applicant, in consultation with the Rec and Parks Department, review opportunities for trail development. The Division of Traffic Management has no comment regarding this application. There is no area commission or recognized neighborhood organization in this area. City departments can recommend approval as the site is adjacent to similar uses, screened by vegetation, and the proposed piles will not be visible from the public right-of-way or residential uses. And there is a condition that the applicant shall commit to the provided site plan to address water and sewer easements. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ripsky, are you in agreement with the city's condition regarding this property?
Yes, we are.
Okay,
And
and this is the final site plan with the area marked for the piles accurately portrayed?
yes, it's the drawing indicates the areas that the city had requested we minimize and not cover as far as sewer easements and water easements, and that exhibit shown as part of the application, and I agree with that.
Okay. Is there anybody here tonight to speak about this project? Board members, do we have any questions for the applicant?
I actually have a question for staff. So I think Michael mentioned that we approved a similar variance. Was that for the Westerville location?
No, this is just for storage of materials. This isn't like, I think you're talking about an asphalt plant or no?
Yes, okay. I guess my point is, I want to make sure that from a consideration standpoint, we aren't creating a new standard locally that perhaps a statewide agency might look at as having another limitation. I just want to have a sense of that. I know we approved one in January, and I'm trying to remember which one it was, if there were special circumstances, but by you referencing that right now, it kind of gives precedent to us continuing to do it. And I just make sure that we aren't sanctioning something that otherwise would be a state requirement that's a little bit more regulated or more closely regarded as being extreme.
Yeah, so
Somebody help me with that.
those previous two cases were for asphalt. Well, for the storage of materials, similar to this, on the same site as asphalt plants. There is no asphalt plant that I know of at this location.
It's just pile heights.
This is just pile heights, and as stated in the staff report, one of the adjacent properties already has a 40-foot pile height, so this one is just asking for the same as the neighboring parcel.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, are we ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Bye.
Okay, 300 Kelton Avenue. 300 Kelton Avenue. Will the applicant please take your mic off of mute and state your name for the record?
Good evening, members of the board. This is Dave Perry here as agent for the applicant, and Eric Sherrill, the project architect, is on the meeting also with us.
Mr. Sherrill, can you take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record as well?
Sure. Carrick Sherrill.
Okay, I will swear both of you all in at the same time. If you can raise your right hands. Mrs. Bailey, are you here to speak on this case as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay. State your name for the record as well, and I can swear you in with the group.
Kathleen Bailey.
Okay. If all three of you will raise your right hands, a promise that the testimony you give tonight with the truth and nothing but the truth, please state I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay, great. We'll hear from the city first, and then we'll come back to you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Chair. 300 Kelton Avenue, located on the east side of Kelton Avenue, approximately 90 feet north of Bryden Road. This is within the Near East Area Commission and zoned R3. The site consists of an undeveloped parcel within the Bryden Road Historic District and surrounded primarily by single and two-unit dwellings. Property records from the County Auditor's Office and Sanborn map surveys indicate that this parcel was once developed with a duplex similar to those adjacent to it. It was demolished sometime prior to 1995. The applicant proposes to construct a single-unit dwelling on a vacant parcel. The building proposed would be comparable in square footage to the existing structures in the neighborhood. Variances are requested to reduce the driveway width. Oh, that needs to be updated. I'm sorry. To reduce building lines along Kelton Avenue, reduce the minimum side yards to the north and south, and to reduce the rear yard. Planning supports this proposal. Staff are in support of the revised site plan showing permeable materials in the driveway, mitigating the impact of a new curb. Staff additionally notes and defers to the Historic Resource Commission approval on design-related matters. The Division of Traffic Management has no comment regarding this application. The Near East Area Commission and the Historic Resource Commission recommend approval of the request. Staff can recommend approval as updates to the proposal are in line with the goals of the Near East Plan and also supported by the Historic Resources Commission. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Mr. Perry.
Yes, thank you. I'll be brief. The parcel is owned R3. It was formerly developed with a two-unit building. The site is unique in that it is one of the few lots in the Near East Area Commission that does not have alley access. It meets the lot of record requirement for a single-family dwelling in the R3, but the side yard building line and minor rear yard variants are needed for the proposed dwelling. The project is supported by the Near East Area Commission and by the Historic Resources Commission in terms of a recommendation for approval on both the zoning variances and the architecture. Thank you.
Okay. Did you want to speak, Mr. Sherrill, or?
No, thank you.
Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, board members, do we have any questions for the applicant? Okay, is there anybody here that would like to speak about this? I know that I saw you, Miss Bailey.
Thank you. Well, of course, the variances were pretty standard, so we see these all the time. But we did kind of like the different take on the house because we've got quite a few people who are now looking at the Near East Side as a place to, as a neighborhood, a good neighborhood. And we're happy to see this take on the design of the building. I think it's wonderful. Again, it incorporates the basic things of the more traditional homes, but we're really excited about that. Thank
Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody else here that would speak about the application? Mr. Hayes, are you wanting to speak? Go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick question for Michael. I think that he kind of mentioned it, but the 3312.13A is not a variance anymore. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Just making sure that that's noted.
Okay.
I did receive an email of someone that wanted to chime in on this one. So if anybody is muted, any of the call-in users, please type in the chat that you're here before we move on without allowing you to speak. Or if Jamie, you want to unmute the call-in users, just to make sure.
Okay, request sent.
I just got a request to unmute. I wasn't in opposition to this one. I'm here for another.
Okay, is an Emily Britt present? Emily Britt or Seth Britt? If not, I guess we can move on.
And they did not send in a written testimony?
No, they just said they were mailed the notice of the hearing and could we please provide the meeting information, which I did. And I did not hear back from them, so.
Okay. Okay. If
I'll call the question.
question has been called, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 5455 North High Street, 5455 North High Street. Will the applicant take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record, please?
Russ White.
Hello, Mr. White. Can you raise your right hand? You promise that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth. Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, we'll hear from the city presentation first, and then we'll come back to you.
All right, thank you, Chair. As you remember, this one was tabled at our last meeting. This is 5455 North High Street, located at the southwest corner of North High Street and Cemetery Drive. It's within the Clintonville Area Commission and Zone C4. The site is currently developed with an office building. Surrounded uses are predominantly commercial along the High Street corridor, with multi-unit residential developments located to the west. The site is also located within the boundaries of the North High Street Community Commercial Overlay. The applicant proposes to raise the existing development and construct a grocery store on the site. Variances are requested to reduce the number of parking lot trees and diverge from Community Commercial Overlay standards, thus increasing the building setbacks from North High Street and interior lot lines, reducing the parking setback along North High Street, reducing the minimum width of the building, not locating the dumpster behind the building, and allowing the parking and circulation between the building and the right-of-way. Planning does not support this proposal as presented. The Clintonville neighborhood plan states new commercial development should abide by any existing overlays. The proposal is within a community commercial overlay district, and variances to its standards regarding setbacks and parking and circulation are not supported. Planning would reconsider support for a revised proposal that moves the building closer to High Street frontage and places parking to the side or rear consistent with plan design guidelines stating parking should be hidden to the greatest extent possible. The Division of Traffic Management can support the proposal pending approval by the Department of Public Service of the traffic access study prepared for this site. As of this afternoon, I did receive an email saying that the traffic access study was approved, and I'll let Brandon Hayes elaborate on that later. The Clintonville Area Commission recommends approval of this request. Staff recommends disapproval of the current site configuration as it does not comply with the guidelines of the Community Commercial Overlay as recommended by the Clintonville Neighborhood Plan. I would be happy to answer any questions. And there is a condition per traffic that the site access configuration shall be based on the traffic study, access study for the site as approved by the Department of Public Service. So.
Has this traffic study already been done?
Yes, it was submitted a few weeks ago and we received an approval letter. Gene, if you're on the call, you can maybe speak to that a little more in detail.
Okay, one second, Mr. White. The question I have is about this, the condition that the city is asking for. I'm not clear if this, are you saying that this, the site, the access is not according to the traffic study? Is that what you're saying, city?
No, we expedited. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. We expedited our approval, so we approved it today. We gave Michael that condition yesterday. So everything is fine now on our end.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so is the city still not recommending approval?
They addressed the traffic concerns from last meeting, but they did not address the planning division concerns regarding deviation from the CCO,
From the plan, right?
from the overlay.
From the overlay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. White, if you could go ahead and explain your deviation from the overlay and why you think that's justified.
Sure, I will be happy to. We originally, some of this will be rehashed from the last month's meeting, so I apologize. When we initially looked at the property, we considered reusing the existing building after doing a site tour on the building and looking at the existing structure as well as the layout. The building was too low. We also could not get a truck in and out of the property to the existing building and maintain sufficient parking to properly support our customer base. So after looking at the property line and realizing there's a significant easement that runs across about the bottom third of the property, it's a major utility easement. The orientation of the building kind of laid itself out at the northwest corner. We immediately contacted the local Clintonville Commission, worked with BJ and the commission there, met with neighbors via Zoom calls. And had some fruitful correspondence through there. And we modified a lot of our building. We modified the layout with input from them. Some of the input we received was to keep the parking lot where it is, to try to keep that away from the major residents in the rear, as well as the location of the dumpster. Though it isn't behind the building, it is furthest away from the residents, and it's also in a recessed well with a screen wall and substantial landscaping screening that. Also, the traffic questions that came into question, which is the reason we were tabled last month, which that's great. We were able to work through those, and we had modified the right out. We initially, long time ago, asked for 2 full curb cuts, but after communication and working with the traffic department, we conceded to just keep the full curb cut at the southeast corner. The northeast corner would just be a right out, and we really need that just for safety in getting the truck out of the property. So this layout that we have here allows us our parking that we need. Working with Clintonville Commission, we were also incorporated the walkability, the bike rack, some enhanced building materials, modified a lot of landscaping. We worked with the Rabbit Rescue just to the north to locate our future electric vehicle charging stations along the northern property line. We had positive feedback from the cemetery, a representative for the cemetery out back, which we border the cemetery drive. They border us to the north. Yeah, so we've had some fruitful conversations with all those entities, as well as we've received numerous overwhelmingly supportive comments from social media from all the community members. I think BJ is actually on the call. She leads the commission down there, so she can affirm that. But I'm happy to answer any questions regarding anything else.
So you're saying that there's an easement running across, I guess this is the front of the property, and that's why you couldn't put the building
It
there?
runs just south of the building. You can see the dotted line. There's a dotted line right through kind of the drive aisle.
I see it.
There's my engineer's on here. I can't remember if it's sanitary. I'm sorry. There's a I think 30-foot wide utility easement right across the bottom.
Yeah, it's for a 15-inch sanitary sewer that runs east-west.
Sir, can I get you to state your name for the record and sign in, please? What's your name?
My name is Ken White. I'm with DLZ.
Okay, and the testimony you give tonight be the truth and nothing but the truth. Please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Yes. The easement that's being highlighted here is for a 15-inch sanitary sewer that runs east-west through the property.
But I guess that doesn't speak to the placement of the building close to High Street. Or explain to me how that impacts that. Maybe I'm missing it.
Well, we first tried to lay the building out up at the northeast corner. We're currently shown at the northwest corner. We did try to lay it out at the northeast corner. A couple problems with that. We're getting the truck in and out. We do receive a full-size truck deliveries. And then it also put the, we couldn't get it in and out and still have parking to accommodate shoppers, for sure. We were down in the 60 some range, is off memory, is where we were in the number of parking spaces. Also, it put the majority of our promotion right next to the residents there to the west. And also there is a significant grade on the property. I mean, I don't think I mentioned this, but the existing building, the finished floor at the rear is 2 to 3 feet higher than the parking lot. So our shopping carts couldn't get into that existing structure.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Is there anybody here to speak about this application? Please take yourself off of mute, state your name for the record.
Hello, I'm BJ White. I'm chairperson of the Clintonville Area Commission and area commissioner for District 9, for which the proposed Aldi development site is to be built upon.
Okay, can I have you raise your right hand? Do you promise that the testimony gives tonight with the truth and nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony, ma'am.
Thank you, members of the BZA, city planners, and those in attendance this evening for allowing me this opportunity. Again, I'll reiterate, I'm BJ White. I'm the Clintonville Area Commission Chair and Area Commissioner for District 9 since 2017, the area where the proposed Aldi development is being considered. For the 1 mile stretch of High Street between Morse Road and Chase Road, the Worthington South border, we have 9 businesses associated with the automotive industry. The Aldi real estate development team has demonstrated good faith in trying to bring the building forward, but cannot gain ingress from any other than from High Street. In order for the delivery trucks to safely navigate in and out, the demonstrated hardship to have the setback variance was an easy approval by the Clintonville Area Commission. The proposed Aldi site, the proposed Aldi building falls in sightline with the CVS that is directly adjacent to the south, which was not subject to the CCO due to its existing building location and use. All other components of this development comply and adhere strongly with the Clintonville neighborhood plan. Fresh Time, a retail grocer located at 933 High Street in Worthington, 1.6 miles to the north on the same side of the High Street, its building sets right up next to the sidewalk, but is dead plated, kind of like a ghost town that you would see, or one of those fake cities that you'd see at Kings Island. To gain entry, you have to walk around to the back of the building alongside of motorist traffic to get to the front entrance, which faces the west side, on the west side of the building. It exists without traffic problems. If you compare the proposed Aldi site to this location, you will find many things in common. The only exception is that the Aldi site is genuinely walkable, as its entrance is directly in front of a COTA bus stop and easily accessible from the High Street sidewalk. From the neighborhood directly west, it is walkable to the densely populated Broadmeadows Boulevard, which is densely made up of affordable housing communities, Broadmeadows Plaza and River Lodge Apartments, to name a few. Collectively, they house 1,800 to 2,000 residents at any given time, depending upon occupancy. Right now, they are 95% to occupancy. You can drive down or walk down Broadmeadows Boulevard and find islands of grocery carts from Target and Kroger from Graceland Shopping Center. Graceland Shopping Center may be walkable with regard to proximity, but is not paved with sidewalks. Pedestrians with mobility devices can be observed struggling for road share with vehicles. This tells us a couple of things. First, the people who reside in the neighborhood who would benefit from this Aldi neighborhood retail grocer the most will walk to their food source. Second, many of them take carts home, and at any given time, you can see those islands of 30 or more grocery carts stacked near a dumpster. The one sure thing about the Aldi is that they require a deposit. You got to put your quarter and you're incentivized to get your quarter back. What's more, Aldi would be located at the head of their neighborhood so that the pedestrians' commute is shortened, all accessible by a sidewalk. The people who reside in Sharon Heights enthusiastically support the Aldi. Historically, the record will show that District 9 of Clintonville has been a tough win with developers, largely in part because the lacking in purposeful development that serves the immediate community. The net gain of having Aldi in our neighborhood far outweighs the necessity for variance requests due to the developers' demonstrated hardship. Keep in mind that we have been discussing this with our neighborhoods since October of 2020, and no one has expressed opposition. In fact, the Aldi real estate team has essentially facilitated a build-to-suit neighborhood grocer.
Chair Palmer, time's up.
May I please complete my statement?
Please complete your statement, ma'am.
With the adherence of the Clintonville Neighborhood Plan, District 9 of Clintonville, inclusive of Broadmeadows Boulevard, the CAC Zoning and Variance Committee, and the CAC overwhelmingly and enthusiastically supports the Aldi neighborhood retail neighborhood grocer. We value all social demographic diversity in our neighborhood, and that we are aware of disparities that exist with fresh food sources to those who reside in our neighborhood. And this helps equitably distribute the abundance of those food sources throughout our community.
Okay.
By foot, bicycle, bus, or car, we support the Aldi and the net gain to the community.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate your comments. Do we have any questions for this community member? Commission chair, I should say. Okay, your vote at the area commission was what, ma'am? I'm talking not your personal vote. I'm talking about the
Unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay.
9-0.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak about this application? Okay, do we have any other questions for the applicant? If there are none, are we ready to call the question?
Can I add one last thing?
Sure.
It's DJ, it's been a pleasure working with you, the Variance Commission and the council. I know we started talking back in November I'm sorry, it's probably September when we first spoke. So thank you for your guidance through this. And it's been a pleasure to get to know you and a few of the residents over there and to hear their input and incorporate as many of those things as we could.
Respectfully, likewise, Mr. White.
Okay, if there's no more questions, are you ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, your variances are granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
And just clarify that was with the condition.
I'm sorry,
Right.
please.
If you could add that.
Yeah, please remind me what the condition was.
The site access configuration shall be based on the traffic access study prepared for this site as approved by the Department of Public Service.
We
So I thought
understand
that
and agree.
Yeah, I thought that condition was clear because traffic said that they provided their approval, but if that's needed to add,
They would like to keep it.
they would like to keep it. Okay. Do you need us to re-vote or how do you want to proceed with that?
If the applicant is fine with it and you guys are fine with it, I would say that we're good to go.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood the need for the condition still.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Variances granted.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next one. 5400 Harvest Street, 5400 Harvest Street. Will the applicant please take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record?
Hi, this is Carrick Sherrill again.
Hello, sir. Are you by yourself on this one?
Yes.
Okay. Since you're already sworn in, I won't do it again. I'll just have the city present the case and we'll come back to you.
Great, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair. 5400 Harvest Street is located at the southeast corner of Harvest Street and West Case Road. The site is zoned R rural and is within the Northwest Civic Association. The site is developed with a single unit dwelling with an attached garage in the R rural zoning district. The applicant proposes the construction of a single-story addition to the existing dwelling, as well as the construction of a second garage, which will also be attached to the addition. The garage will have a second-story living space. The Northwest Plan recommends that the scale and proportion of additions should be compatible with the principal and nearby structures, and the garages should not exceed 40% of the home's width. As such, planning supports the proposal, but recommends modifications to the site plan to include landscaping screening along Harvest Street and along the paved driveway areas. Planning also requests all elevations to review against the plan design guidelines. Planning has since reviewed the plan elevations and have recommended full support. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the Northwest Civic Association recommends approval. As stated, staff can recommend approval as the proposal is consistent with the Northwest Plan, which states that the scale and proportion of additions should be compatible with the principal and nearby structures, and the garages should not exceed 40% of the home's width. Staff is recommending the condition that the applicant include landscaping along Harvest Street. So Phil, if you go back to the site plan, you'll notice there are 2 existing street trees along Harvest. The applicant has added a 3rd street tree, which has satisfied our condition. And with that, we'll turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so I would like to have Mr. Hayes on the record around and speak to the vision triangle issue.
You have a question? Or
Yes, I just want to make sure that you are okay with the vision triangle, since that is a safety issue and above our knowledge.
yeah, we didn't have any comments on the proposal based on the vision clearance triangles.
I'm sorry, you didn't have any what?
We didn't have any issues on the proposal based on the vision clearance triangle
Okay.
request.
And Madam Chair, if I could just clarify, looking at the site plan here, where the vision clearance triangle is highlighted in the, I guess, the northwest corner, the top along Harvest and West Case, those are existing conditions. Everything that's being proposed with tonight's variance is going to be to the south.
Right.
So nothing with the new proposal will affect anything in the vision clearance triangle. The only real effect would be the fact that the site is currently 0.54 acres. And the rear yard will be reduced from 25% to 12%. So the proposal again is to the west, or I'm sorry, south, and the vision clearance are to the northwest and northeast, and those are existing conditions.
So I guess I'm just wondering, why is it part of our what we're voting on tonight?
To legitimize existing conditions. So if the applicant were to come back in the future and try to finance, they wouldn't have to come before the board then. They can just get everything taken care of now.
Okay, understood. Okay, thank you. Mr. Sherrill, do you have anything else to add to this application?
I only have one thing. I believe the notes that were at the beginning had the vision clearance triangle listed as 20, being reduced from 30 by 30 to 20 by 20, and the site plan shows 13.5. I just wanted to make sure that that was clarified in the minutes or approval.
It says the vision clearance is going from 30 to 13. I don't know what you meant by 20.
In the notes in the
Carrick, you're good. The report says to reduce the vision clearance triangle from 30 to 30 to 13 by 13. So you're good.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other questions for the applicant? Is there anybody here? Is there anybody here that wishes to speak about this application? Okay, if there's no other questions, are you ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question has been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you very much.
Okay, 304 Woodland Avenue, 304 Woodland Avenue. Will the applicant please take yourself off mute and state your name for the record?
Yes, good evening, Chair Bailey. This is Dave Ferry as agent for the applicant Samuel McDaniel. And Gunzelman Architecture is the project architect, and Lori Gunzelman is on the call also.
Mrs. Gunzelman, are you planning on speaking this evening?
I may speak, yes.
Okay, please state your name for the record.
Laurie Gunzelman.
And raise your right hand. Do you promise that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay. City will hear from you, then we'll come back to you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is 304 Woodland Avenue, located at the southeast corner of Woodland Avenue and Greenway Avenue. It is within the Near East Area Commission and zoned ARLD Apartment Residential District. The 0.55 acre site is currently developed with a commercial building and parking lot. Surrounding the site are primarily single, two, and multi-unit dwellings, and to the east is a religious facility. The applicant proposes to redevelop the site with a 3-story, 27-unit apartment building. Variances are requested to reduce the parking setback, the number of parking spaces provided from 41 to 28, area per dwelling unit, and building lines. Planning is supportive of this proposal. The Near East Area Plan states new development be compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. Staff finds the elevations to be consistent with the plan design guidelines and supports the proposed parking variance as the revised site plan shows additional street trees on Woodland and additional bike parking. The Division of Traffic Management can support this revised layout as attached, conditioned upon private refuse. The Near East Area Commission recommends approval of this request. Staff can recommend approval as the proposal is consistent with the recommendations of the Near East Area Plan. The elevations are consistent with the plan design guidelines, and additional street trees along Woodland and additional bicycle parking have been provided. And we would condition this on the site plan before you. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Mr. Perry, are you comfortable with the condition by the city that this is the final site plan?
Yes, we are. This is the final site plan.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add to this about this application?
I don't. Mr. Merritt did a good job of explaining the application. Thank you.
Board members, do we have any questions for Mr. Perry?
I have a question. I mean, you're providing one more parking space than you have apartments. I mean, how is that going to work?
They are 27 one-bedroom apartments, sir, and the much of the urban development that we've seen very heavily for the last 10 years or so has been supported by the traffic staff at one per unit, one per bedroom.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, there was a mention of elevations are appropriate for the neighborhood. Have we seen those elevations? I didn't see them in the package.
They are not being committed to, so we are not showing them here. I can pull them up if you'd like.
Sure, could you?
Yeah, Mr. Maleka, happy to show them. We went through building elevation and materials review with the planning staff, and they were shown through the NEAC meeting process. Also, they're not specific commitments of the application, but Gunzelman Architecture has developed building elevations that the project will proceed with.
There are the north and west elevations along the street frontages. And there are examples of the materials that may be used.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Did I already ask, is there anybody here to speak about this application? Okay, seeing none, are we ready to call the question with the condition agreed upon by the applicant?
Chair Bailey
I think
was on
Near
mute.
East Area
If,
Commission is on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody's trying to get on, trying to say something?
No, we supported the project. The actual.
Ma'am, can you say your name, please?
Sorry, Kathleen Bailey, Chair, Near East Area Commission.
Okay.
Actually, some of the more cogent questions were about the brownfield, which was completely addressed by Ms. Gunselman. Other than that, the design and everything was acceptable.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. Anybody else? Okay, are we ready to call the question in accordance with the condition as accepted by the applicant?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
No.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variances have been granted. Good luck with the project.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 1053 Oak Street. 1053 Oak Street. Will the applicant please take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record, please?
Hi, Elisa Becker.
Hello, Mrs. Becker. Please raise your hand. You promise that the testimony you get tonight with the truth, nothing but the truth. Please state I do.
I do.
Thank you. We will hear from the city first, then we'll come back to you.
Thank you, Chair Palmer. 1053 Oak Street is located on the south side of Oak Street, approximately 70 feet east of South 22nd Street. The site is within the Near East Area Commission and zoned R3 residential. The 0.1 acre site is currently undeveloped. Surrounding uses include single and multi-unit residential dwellings. The applicant proposes to split the existing lot into two, so they may develop each new lot with a single unit dwelling. And they're requesting variances to reduce the required lot width from 50 feet to 30.5 feet and to reduce the lot area from 5,000 square feet to 4,178.5 square feet. The Near East Area Plan recommends developing new housing that is compatible with existing architecture. Planning requests elevations to ensure compatibility with the Near East Area Plan design guidelines. Planning may have been a bit misguided. The request is only to do a lot split. I don't know if any plans have been submitted or have even been proposed to develop any single family dwellings. So again, this variance request is to only develop or to split the lot. The Division of Traffic Management states that no access will be permitted to Oak Street. All access will have to come from Elliott Alley to the south. And the Near East Area Commission recommends approval of this request. City staff can recommend approval as a proposed lot width and lot area are in character with the surrounding neighborhood, and we're not recommending any conditions. Madam Chair, we'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, Ms. Becker, do you have anything else to add about this application?
Nope, just wanted to make sure it was clear that they were previously two lots that were then merged into one. So it's just splitting them evenly is really the impact.
Okay. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Is there anyone here that wishes to speak about this application?
Hi, yes, I'm Chris Bartoni. I'm the neighbor to the east of the proposed split lots.
Okay, can you state your name again and spell the last name, please?
Sure, it's Chris Bartoni, Bartony.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bartoni, if you can raise your right hand, you promise that the testimony you give tonight be the truth, nothing but the truth. Please say I do.
I do.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
The current requirement of the 50-foot lot width, we have that for legitimate reasons. This is almost a 30% reduction in the width, and with two 30-foot lots, the existing houses, you say that they haven't submitted what's coming next. I would assume that two houses are coming next, if they're splitting it into two separate lots. The existing houses are on small lots, and we're completely up against, well, we have a 0 setback on one side, and we still have 10 feet between our houses. With the 30-foot lot next to my house, I don't think we're going to have that 10 feet of separation. It would have to be, what is it? It's a 5-foot setback, but that wouldn't be in character with the neighborhood. And I'm just not sure why we we have a lot that's only 10 feet wider than the bare minimum that code requires. And why one house on a lot a little bit bigger than the zoning requirement versus two houses on lots 30% smaller than our current requirement makes sense for the neighborhood. And I'm not sure would have the setback that exists on the block and in the neighborhood already of about 10 feet between the houses, especially between my house and the lot next to mine. If you put 10 feet there, then that pushes the other house 10 feet the other way, and you have a fairly narrow house. So I just don't think it fits the neighborhood as well as maybe it looks on paper. And I think having it just as a single lot would be a better solution for the neighborhood.
Madam Chair, I think I can address that. I was just able to pull up the Columbus zoning map.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you to pull up so we could see that.
Sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, and I was able to measure them out as well. So let me see here.
The existing lots are 38 and 23 feet wide. The one
So
next to my house.
are you guys able to see my my browser?
No.
All right, let me try something different here. Let's try this. Okay, so here is the lot in question that Miss Becker owns. She's splitting it down the middle, so it'll be two lots. I believe the gentleman who just spoke you said you own the lot to the east, which is this lot. And your lot is 21.8 feet approximately.
Exactly.
Several lots are 23, 25. The lot to the west is currently 51 feet, and then they're 36.9, 36.1. So this is how we came about our justification or recommendation that splitting a lot would be in character with the neighborhood. Madam Chair, I think it speaks for itself.
I think some of the development practices in code have been updated since the 19th century, and I think the larger lot sizes make more sense.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that point with you, Mr. Bartoni. I think the issue that we have though is that this, we would be potentially giving an unfavorable position to a person that's similarly situated, that they would not have the ability to make use of the land like others have done with a smaller lot. And so, the character of the neighborhood supports that. And I'm not convinced by the argument that it doesn't.
And my other concern with not having any other type of plan submitted for what comes next is like similar the previous variances that were requested, that we'll be back here in a short period of time asking for variances on setbacks and side yards and everything else as the lots to develop with houses that are too big to fit on them comfortably.
Yeah, that's likely, but what's before us right now is just for the lot split. So we can't presuppose what this applicant is going to do, but I hear you, that is probably likely. But at this point, all we can do is vote on what's before us. Is there anybody else here that wishes to speak about this application? Do we have any other questions for the applicant? Will the applicant like to make any other comments before we call for the vote?
I think James was very clear.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Ms. Becker.
No, I think that showing the width of the ones next to it and even across the street are similar or less, I think makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that, James.
Okay. Okay, if no other questions, are you ready to call the question?
I see a hand up.
Oh, I didn't see that. How do you, is a person trying to say something?
I don't know, Lauren, your hand's up. There you are.
Yes, Lauren Stone.
Hi.
Hello, I live directly across the street and own the two undeveloped lots for comparison, if you're looking at the mapping there.
Okay, can you promise that the testimony you're going to provide tonight is the truth and nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Being that you're just looking for comments on the splitting, I was going to ask about future development, but I'll reserve that since I don't think you're asking for questions on that right now.
That's correct.
Okay, then I will reserve any future questions for that period and then in the next meetings.
Okay. And notices will go out on when that's going to come forward to us, so you'll have ample opportunity to get those questions ready.
Very good, thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Okay, I don't hear anybody. I don't see any hands going up. I don't see anybody in the chat.
I'll call the question.
Okay, question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Thank you. Okay, 414 Junction Crossing Drive, 414 Junction Crossing Drive. Will the applicant please take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record?
Jamie, do you want to unmute call-in user number 3? I think that may be
Yep,
them.
I sent her a request. It's up to them now to follow through.
Okay. If they're not logged into a computer and only have the voice.
Should be Mr. Price, Willie Price.
I thought we heard Mr. Price at the beginning of the meeting. He was able to speak.
Yeah, but if he called in on the phone and then left his computer, oh, there we go.
Oh, he's unmuted now.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, evening, Madam Chair. My name is Willie Price.
Nice to meet you, Willie Price. Can you promise that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, we're going to hear the city's presentation, then we'll bring it back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 414 Junction Crossing Drive is located at the northeast corner of Junction Crossing Drive and Casado Drive, served by the Far East Area Commission. It is zoned Planned Unit Development 8 District. The site is developed with a single unit dwelling located on the eastern perimeter of a single family residential development. To the east, beyond a platted reserve buffer, including power lines, is vacant industrial land. Nearly all the dwellings on this side of the street have a similarly small wooden stoop with stairs. A few appear to have constructed larger decks similar to the proposal, including a BZA variance application recently approved 2 properties to the south at 402. The applicant proposes to replace the existing stairs on the rear of the house with a new 12 by 16 deck with stairs. The variance is to reduce the rear yard setback required by the PUD ordinance from 20 feet to 12 feet. The Planning Division has no comment on the request, as the Far East Land Use Plan and C2P2 do not specifically address the matter, and the Far East Area Commission recommended approval of the request. City departments recommend approval, as the proposal would not appear to significantly impact the general character of the neighborhood. Additionally, in consideration of its location along a natural buffer near vacant land, it would not be detrimental to surrounding properties. And we recommend the condition that the applicant commit to the stamped site plan. Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. Price, does the city have possession of the final site plan for the improvement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you are okay that this will be stamped for the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add about the application?
No, ma'am, not at the time.
Okay, we have any questions for the applicant? Okay, is there anybody else here to speak about this application?
Call the question.
Question has been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
I wasn't here for the entire case, so I'm going to bow out of this one.
Okay, Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you, ma'am.
4150 to 4207 Worth Avenue. 4150 to 4207 Worth Avenue. Will the applicant take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record?
Kelly Shepherd Goodfriend.
Okay. Do you promise that the testimony you give tonight with the truth, nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Thank you. We'll hear from the city first, then we'll bring it back to you.
All right, BZA 21-028 at 4150 to 4207 Worth Avenue, located at the northeast corner of Stelter Road and Layette Drive. This is within the Northeast Area Commission and Zone CPD Commercial Plan Development District, and is otherwise known as the Easton Town Shopping Center. The site consists of a 37-acre parcel within the Easton Town Center and is developed with several commercial shopping centers, a grocery store, and several restaurants. Surrounding the site are predominantly commercial uses to the north, south, and west, and to the east is I-270. The applicant is requesting a special permit to park a DHL pop-up trailer portable building in the parking lot just northeast of the Stelter Road and Layette Drive intersection to service shipping needs, as it does not have a brick and mortar establishment in the area. Planning has no comment regarding the proposal. The Northeast Area Plan does not address portable buildings. A right-of-way dedication exception request is currently ongoing with the Division of Traffic Management. They can support this conditioned on the compliance of the request resolution. As of the writing of this report, no recommendation from the Northeast Area Commission has been received, and city departments can recommend approval. Although the Northeast Area Plan does not address portable buildings, we can recommend approval as the request is temporary, compatible with the general character of Easton, and will not displace any required parking spaces. And we have two conditions: that the portable building on the site will be limited to 8 months, and that the applicant will comply with the resolution of the right-of-way dedication exception request. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Ms. Shepherd, are you in agreement with the conditions as outlaid by the city?
Yes.
And was that red arrow where the portable building was going to be?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. And this is the final location. There's no change to that.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, go ahead with any other testimony you want to provide.
Just thank you again for hearing our case, and I think Michael explained our project well, and we're excited to expand our presence in the Columbus market. No additional comment.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the applicant? Is there anyone here that wishes to speak about this application? Okay, if there's no questions, are you ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, your special permit has been granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
364 East Tulane Road, 364 East Tulane Road. Is the applicant here? Please take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record.
Brandon Schnuck.
Hello, Mr. Snuck. Can you raise your right hand? Do you promise that the testimony you give tonight with the truth, nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, we'll hear from the city first, and then I'll bring it back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is 364 East Tulane Road, located on the north side of East Tulane Road, approximately 53 feet east of Esmond Street. This is within the Clintonville Area Commission and zoned R3 residential. The site consists of a single parcel and is developed with a dwelling and dated single-car garage. Surrounding the site are single-unit dwellings. The applicant proposes to construct a detached 2-car garage and requests a variance to increase the allowable height for storage and a higher roof pitch to match the architectural character of the residence. Planning supports this request. Staff requested an additional second-story window on both the east and west elevations, which the applicant provided to ensure compatibility with the existing residential structure per the Clintonville area plan, which states that garage height should be permitted to exceed maximum height allowable by code if it is architecturally compatible with the primary house. The Division of Traffic Management has no comment regarding this application. The Clintonville Area Commission recommends approval of this request. The purpose of Columbus City Code 3332.38 is to allow private garages in residential districts that are consistent with the scale and character of residential uses and buildings. The proposed garage is consistent with the size of the lot, the existing single unit dwelling, and the provisions of the Clintonville Northland Plan. Therefore, staff can recommend approval. And we would like the elevations in front of you to be stamped and conditioned. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Mr. Snug, are you in agreement that these are the final site plans, site elevations, and you're willing to have them stamped in the record?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you have any other testimony to offer about the application?
No, I think it was covered there. I would add that we've spoken to several neighbors that offered their support, including our immediate neighbor that wrote a letter of support for the Clintonville Area Commission meeting. And yeah, that's about it. We're just looking for a little bit of extra storage and a spot to work from home when needed, which is a little bit more popular now. So.
Okay, do we have any questions for the applicant? Is there anyone here that wishes to speak about this application?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Jones.
Yes.
Mr. Maleka.
Yes.
Mr. Demora.
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
6130 Wexford Place. 6130 Wexford Place. If the applicant, please can take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record.
Hello, all. My name's Joshua Eastman.
Hello, Mr. Eastman. Can you raise your right hand and promise that you will give, that the testimony you give tonight with the truth, nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, we'll hear from the city and then I'll bring it back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 6130 Wexford Place is located at the northeast corner of Ralston Drive and Wexford Place. The site is within the far west side area commission and zone LR2 limited residential. The site is currently developed with a single unit dwelling on a corner lot in a platted residential subdivision. The applicant was cited for installing a 6-foot privacy fence within a required yard. The applicant is requesting variances to legitimize the existing fence by increasing the height and opacity of the privacy fence located in the required yard from 2.5 feet to 6 feet and from 25% opacity to 100% opacity. They're further requesting a variance to reduce the required platted building line along Ralston Drive from 25 feet to 8 feet, and that would be for the shed. Planning is generally supportive of this proposal, but requests an additional street tree on both the Wexford Park and Ralston frontages in consultation with the city forester. The Big Darby Accord Watershed Master Plan states that development should follow conservation development principles, including trees as part of the site development. For consistency with these development principles, staff requests 2 additional street trees, again, in consultation with the city forester. The Division of Traffic Management has reviewed the site and they can recommend approval as they have determined that the existing fence does not obstruct an intersection site distance triangle. And the Far West Side Area Commission recommends approval of this request. City staff can recommend approval, again, as the Division of Traffic Management has determined that the existing fence does not obstruct the intersection site distance triangle. The only conditions we're requesting are what was stated in the planning comment, that the applicant provide an additional street tree on both Wexford Park and Ralston in consultation with the city forester. And with that, Madam Chair, we'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, Mr. Eastman, do you agree with the conditions that you plant an additional tree on, what's the streets?
Wexford Park and Ralston Drive.
Ralston, right. Okay. Do you agree with that, Mr. Eastman?
I'm happy to consult with the forester, city forester, but I do think that there'll be problems. One, in the frontage of Wexford Park Drive, I already have a 30-foot tree in my front yard, so any tree planted would be planted underneath that tree. And then the side yard on Rothston Drive, there's an easement, so I would prefer not to plant a tree, you know, just to prevent any future issues of roots going down to the gas line. And that side yard having a tree would, in fact, potentially block the visual clearance of the driveway behind the house.
Okay, I think the city did leave it open for consultation with the city forester. So if you're in agreement to do that, I think that will cover the condition.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have anything else to add to the application?
No, I just noticed, just for correction, there's a few typos there for Wexford Place versus Wexford Park Drive. So I just want to make sure on the record it's Wexford Park Drive for the clearance.
The name of your street is Wexford Park Drive.
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Noted.
Okay. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Is there anybody here that wants to speak about this application? Please take yourself off mute. Okay, I see none. Are we ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
40 East Whittier Street, 40 East Whittier Street. Will the applicant please take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record?
Yes, Chair Bailey, this is David Perry again. I'm the agent for the applicant on this application. There are 3 others on the call also, if you would like me to tell you who they are.
Yes, if they can state their names for the record, please.
Yes, Tom Robinson is the property owner. Gunzelman Architecture is the project architect. Kyle Green is on the call. And Bob Trankley is the general contractor for this project, and he is on.
Okay, will the 3 gentlemen, is anybody else on? Just make sure. Will the 3 gentlemen that Mr. Perry just referenced, will you raise your right hand so I can swear you in as a group? Do you promise that the testimony you give tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Please say I do.
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay, I heard 3 I do's. Will the city please make their presentation, and I'll bring it back to you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I start, you all received a letter of opposition from a neighbor, and I did pass along the meeting information to them in case they wanted to attend. This is 40 East Whittier Street, located on the north side of East Whittier Street, approximately 63 feet east of South Pearl Street, within the German Village Commission, and zoned R2F. The site consists of a single parcel and is developed with a single unit dwelling and detached 2-car garage. Surrounding the site are single unit dwellings. That should not say 2-car garage, that should just say 1-car garage. The applicant proposes to raise and rebuild a detached garage. The applicant requests variances to maintain both the side yard of 1.5 feet, where 3 feet are required, and the maneuvering area of 18 feet, where 20 feet is required. Elevations and materials have already been approved by the German Village Commission. Planning has no comment. There is no council adopted plan for this area. The site does fall within the German Village Architectural Review Commission area. The Division of Traffic Management has no comment regarding this application, and the German Village Commission recommends approval of this request. City staff can recommend approval as the variances being requested will legitimize existing site conditions, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Mr. Perry, you want to go ahead, add anything to this application?
Yes, thank you. The issue with this project is the existing garage doesn't have a foundation, and there is substantial wood decay that Gunzelman Architecture has documented to the German Village Commission. So the project is to take the garage down lovingly and take it apart, install a foundation, and rebuild the garage using as much of the current materials as are salvageable, noting that there is rot and other material in the building. So the zoning, the variance request before you reflects the same conditions as the existing building. Both the German Village Commission and Gunzelman Architecture recognized the preservation aspect of the existing building, but also recognized the need for substantial repair and bringing the building up to modern standards, for example, with a complete foundation. So this was discussed on multiple occasions with the German Village Commission about how to address that preservation aspect of the building while providing a stable garage. And the project is completely supported by German Village on both the zoning variance aspect to reflect the existing conditions and the reconstruction.
Okay, I just want to add into the record that we did get notice of a neighbor complaint about the historic preservation issue, and it is our understanding that the German Village Commission, who has oversight over the historic preservation, has already given their approval and their certificate of appropriateness, and so we don't have to address that issue. If there's not anything else, Mr. Perry, I will ask the board if they have any questions.
Nothing further unless there are questions.
Okay, is there anybody here that wishes to speak about this application? Okay, seeing none, if there are no questions from the board, are we ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Mr. Maleka,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance is granted. Good luck with the project.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, our last case, 1350 Hamlet Street. 1350 Hamlet Street. Will the applicant please take yourself off of mute and state your name for the record?
Sean Noppy.
Hello, Mr. Noppy. Can you raise your right hand and promise that the testimony you give tonight is the truth, nothing but the truth? Please state I do.
I do.
Okay, we'll hear from the city first, and we'll bring it back to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 1350 Hamlet Street is located on the east side of Hamlet Street, approximately 185 feet north of East 7th Avenue, served by the University Area Commission, and it's zoned R4 residential. The site is currently undeveloped with several existing mature trees. Surrounding uses are all single-unit dwellings, only a few of which have detached garages on the alleys. The applicant proposes to construct a single-unit dwelling with a detached garage on the alley. The variance is to increase the maximum floor area ratio from 0.4 to 0.53. The University District Plan recommends that new housing be compatible with nearby housing. Planning Division is generally supportive of the proposal, but recommends additional windows on the side elevations, here shown, for increased compatibility with University District housing. No comments from traffic, and the University Area Commission recommended approval of the request. City departments can recommend approval. The proposal is sufficiently compatible with nearby housing as recommended by the area plan. However, staff do encourage the board to consider increasing compatibility by requesting additional windows on the side elevations. And we recommend the condition that the applicant commit to the stamped building elevation when that is clarified. Madam Chair.
Okay, Mr. Nopi, is this the final elevation? Are you ready to stamp this one?
Yes.
Okay, so you're okay with the condition by the city that that be included to the record?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead with any other testimony. Mr. Nopi, go ahead with any other testimony about the application.
Yeah, I'm happy to address any concern. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to address any concerns. The only concern that was brought up at any point was the windows on the side elevations, and I did work with my architect on that. There are a substantial amount of windows on the front and back and some windows on the sides. The sides of the house happen to have areas that don't call for windows so much, such as bathrooms, closet, laundry area, or where a bed might be. And I wanted the windows to conform with the style and shape and size of existing homes in the area. So I didn't want to put any modern looking transoms across. So we arrived at the elevations we're at, and I actually have lived on the same block of this where this house is being built for a few years, and many of the homes on this block have similar side elevations with just a couple windows. So I feel strongly that it fits in well in the area. And I mean, if you look at the home from the front, which is by far the most visible, you know, due to homes being close on the side and the way it sits up, I mean, it very much fits in with the area. It's a pretty straightforward project. The variance I'm requesting only, it wouldn't be required in really any other urban neighborhood that's similar, just the university area. And the home is only about 1,700 square foot above grade. Just the basement takes it over the threshold, and it, you know, just has a regular full basement. So that's all I have to say. It's, you know, very similar to other homes that have been built recently, recent years in this neighborhood, and I'll address any questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Is there anybody here that wishes to speak about this application? Okay, seeing none, are we ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called. Please call the roll.
Mr. Malika,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Demora,
Yes.
Chair Palmer Bailey.
Yes, variance granted. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
And I believe that concludes our meeting for May 25th.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. You guys have any questions or comments?
None from me.
Okay. I believe we are adjourned.
Okay, thank you. See you later.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Mr. Merritt, Sierra, and Phil, stay on. All right, let me stop the live
Bye,
streaming.
Tony.
Did you say mo?